Welcome to part 3, how to stamina Nightblade. In this section, I'm going to teach you a little bit about PvP and what I've learned chasing Emperor, getting Emperor, and how you can optimize your build to center around solo or group play. Stay tuned if you want to learn about stamina Nightblade PvP. We're in Cyrodiil here. I'm a stamina Nightblade. Tom Shanks. He looks clean, don't he? He's a good little Khajiit. And I want to talk about the skills. Now I'm going to show you how to use them in a later part of this video, but let's just talk about them so you can get an idea of what I'm doing and why. First thing I want you to realize in PvP. So this is the law of PvP. 1. NPCs, non-playable characters, do not have critical resistance, nor can they crit hit you. Okay, why am I bringing that up in PvP? Because the exact opposite is true in PvP. Players can have immunity to critical or resistance to critical hits. The reason I'm bringing this up is you want to center your build around powerful hits and not so much critical, because it can be resisted. So my Khajiit bonus weapon critical is still good, but against specific type builds, it's going to be fully neutralized. Especially Magicka sorcs. Magicka sorcs right now, you cannot crit their wards. That's a very important thing to realize. So if I do a high crit centered build and I go up against a Magicka sorc shield stacking, I'll be hitting significantly less because I can't crit their shields. So it's something to think about. Alright, so why am I bringing that up? Because my skill bar, I do not use a crit buff, though I do use the weapon brutality buff. So for this build, I'm running 2 heavy, 5 medium. I'm running Ravager's Hunting's Rage, which I'll go into detail later. I'm also using hammers, and the reason I use hammers is for penetration, not crit like daggers. PvE, daggers, precise, great. PvP, hammers, and penetration, sharpen. You want to armor pen these freaks. Okay, first ability up. Centered around ambush. The thing is, it's a gap closer. It does empower. You guys know it. You love it. You hate it. What also I like to use ambush for is a stamina or a magic sorc just shrieking away. What I do with them is I tab target them and I just spam this ability. This ability actually hits really, really hard. I mean, the tooltip right now with not only my buffs on says 6662. That's a lot. And it immobilizes enemies. So if you're getting that sorc that loves to streak away, tab target him, jump, 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 jump. It's annoying, people hate it, but it's effective. Okay, so we got that. Now the second ability up, undoable, is Quick Cloak. I use this primarily to proc my Ravager gear. Ravager still works. It's not the best gear in slot anymore, but for PvP it's super tanky. It gives me a lot of health, it gives me a lot of resistance. 2 pieces of heavy goes a long way for my survivability. So I keep Quick Cloak on, and also gives me AoE damage reduction and speed. So I primarily play in a group, and so if you want to play in a group, I highly recommend Quick Cloak for that AoE damage reduction. Now, if you don't play in groups and you want to play solo, go with Flying Dagger. This is going to give you a massive amount of range. Now the tooltip says 38 because I'm at a home keep and I have the Alliance passive, but it's actually 28 meters. Hits like a truck, doesn't cost that much, snares people, and gives you major brutality. So depending on what you do, group play, Ravager gear, Quick Cloak. Solo, Flying Dagger. Ooh, I'm enlightening you. Okay, and then on my stamina build, I primarily use this bar for all my damage, and my back bar is the buff bar. So with that being said, I use Mass Hysteria rather than Dark Cloak. My Magicka build, I ran Dark Cloak on my front bar, and Mass Hysteria goes on my front bar versus Dark Cloak. The reason being is I use this to open up people and get their block dropped. I don't use a whole lot of Dark Cloaks to escape because it doesn't really work in AoE situations, and it's a magic dump. So I still have my back bar, but it's not my primary means in stunning and dropping people's block. It's this. And also it doesn't give me a speed boost because I'm using surprise attack. So essentially what I do is, like the combo I showed you guys in PvE, it still works in PvP. You ambush in it. Depending on what you're gonna what's around you is what you do. If it's a single target, I'll do surprise attack, then a Mass Hysteria, surprise attack. If it's a bunch of people, I'll go ambush, Mass Hysteria to kind of see the weak target. Once I fear them, I'm gonna see who reacts slowest. So if someone reacts really slow and doesn't break CC, either 1, they don't know how to counter CC, or 2, they're out of stamina. That's when I target them and beat them down with a surprise attack. So res deck does a lot of damage, major fracture, so it reduces their physical resistance, which is how we do damage. Along with our hammers and champion points, we're going to really have a lot of armor pen, hit very hard. And then what would a Deltia stamina build be without Steel Tornado? It's the best AoE in the game. People hate when I use it against them, but it's just that good. It really is. So I love me some Steel Tornado. And it's effective even in solo play because you get people out of stealth. And so I don't think just to use this in single play. Now, it also is good for NPCs. So if you want to solo a resource or you're Imperial City ganking and you're taking out mobs, I like it. Now, if you struggle with health and sustaining and surviving, go with Killer's Blade. It's going to heal you. It's an execute. The reason I don't use Killer Blades that much anymore is because in PvP, a lot of people run low health pools. So by the time their health drops to 25% or below, I can just kill them with a surprise attack or two anyways. So that's just an option for you. In Flawless Dawnbreaker, 8% weapon damage for having the sucker slotted. I think it's actually a really good ultimate in and of itself. At 100 cost, it's a cone right in front of you. There's a lot of upfront damage and then additional magic damage over 5 seconds. Really, the main reason I use this is just for the weapon damage and having it slotted. So this isn't going to be my primary ultimate, though. If you do an ambush into a Flawless Dawnbreaker, it will hit like a truck. And that's dual wield. So ambush is your gap closer. Quick cloak's your buff to keep up your speed. Mass Hysteria is your fear or stun. You have your one spammable single target damage ability. You have your one spammable AoE target damage ability. And then you have Flawless Dawnbreaker. That's really it. Jump in, spam. I mean, that's just not that hard. Back bar. Okay, so it's a little more complex. Now, this is my buff bar. So I use a two-hander primarily for good old rally. I don't have any damage abilities on this. None. It's mainly for rally, which is a good self-heal, major brutality, so it's gonna hit. I'm gonna hit a lot harder. But that's really the only reason I run this thing, is rally right here. I don't need crit charge because I feel ambush is a better gap closer. It hits harder and gives you empower, so I don't want to use that. And then I got an extra slot on my dual wield, giving me more set bonus advantage, so I don't use two-hander for any damage. And then I have something that's really important for Nightblades is to counter other Nightblades. Piercing Mark, that's the morph you want to have if you're just going to solo PvP. And I have Reaper's Mark for PvE circumstances in the next video, but trust me on this, Piercing Mark is the #1 counter to you as a Nightblade. So if you want to go solo rogue style, you got to have this ability. If you want to do more damage, use Relentless Focus. But I prefer Piercing Mark when I'm going roving around because it's just so good. Even in group play, having a Nightblade that can counter other Nightblades is extremely useful. Okay, now for this build, I do usually run Vampire. And I like Vampire as a stamina build even because of the ultimate bats and because of the sneak speed. Those are the two reasons I like Vampire. Now, not everyone's going to like Vampire. It's not for everybody. But the sneak speed in bats is really good. And so I suggest using Dark Cloak. You can escape with it. It seems to be nerfed somewhat. I can't really get it to work that well. But you're going to want to combine Dark Cloaking and Dodge Rolling to escape on this bar. So, let's say we get in trouble here. We're going to fear our targets. And if they're still on us, we're going to dodge roll away. Now you notice my feet light up green, right? That's the debuff that shows you if you do another dodge roll while your feet are green, it's going to cost more. So the combination here is simply dodge roll, do one heal with vigor, Dark Cloak. And then you should be able to dodge roll again. Dark Cloak. And that's how we're going to create distance and not run into the stamina issues. So don't just 15 dodge rolls, because you can see that didn't cost me much. Oh, that cost me a lot. That cost me way more. So you can't do the infinite dodge roll thing anymore. I can potion and keep going at it, but each one costs more and more and more. So the goal here is to dodge roll, create some space, do a self-heal, do a Dark Cloak, and then by the time it's up, your feet aren't green anymore. See? So this is 3 seconds. Dodge roll again. That's how you successfully escape now with the dodge roll change. Now, obviously, with no one beating on me, it's not that hard to do. But when you have people beating on you, you're going to have to constantly bar swap. So we're going to have people chasing you and doing invasions and talons and all that sort of stuff. But remember, everyone can be stunned every 6 seconds. So if someone is chasing you during this process, dodge roll, so you're going to get immobilized right here. Well, are they stunnable or not? If they are, bar swap, fear them, jump back off, go here. And then line of sight. Always go behind stuff. Don't stand in the open. You're Nightblade. Play like it. Literally just go behind boxes, crates, blah, blah, blah. Always try to get in stealth. Always try to be in stealth. It's really going to go a long way. You'll be surprised how often you can get in stealth with the vampire at night, even with 20 enemies around. Trust me, it works. Alright. Next buff up is a magic speed boost double take. Now, the reason I like this is sometimes you're going to run out of stamina with quick cloaks. And you're going to need some speed. So for this here, you get increased dodge chance and speed for 4 seconds. So if you have excessive magic and you need to get out of dodge, use double take. The increased dodge chance is incredibly valuable, especially if you're in group play and you like to YOLO in like a meatball like me and just fight 15 enemies. You're going to need this to survive and not getting nuked right away. I can't say enough good things about this right here. Okay, and then what makes or breaks this build for me is Vigor. Assault rank 5. It doesn't take that long in PvP, but you can get it really, really easy. And so I re-rolled this character, did about a week in PvP, and I got it. It makes or break your build, because as a Stamina Nightblade, you don't have a burst heal. You don't have Healing Ward. And until you get this, you're pretty much struggling just using Rally and Potions for self-heals. Once you get this, though, you're going to get massive healing over 5 seconds. Now, it is 5 seconds. So when you pop this, it's going to give you a lot of health, but it is 5 seconds. So you're going to need to combine Rally and Vigor for burst healing. And that's my Engine Guardian. Everyone loves that. So remember that on the Rally thing here is you're going to get more healing the longer you let this thing go. So before you jump into combat, put your Rally up. Because you're going to jump in, you're going to fight, blah, blah, blah. You're going to need a heal eventually. So you're going to pop Rally, or you're going to pop Vigor first. Get the 5-second hot rolling, then you're going to pop Rally for a burst heal. See, 4.1k. Now it's going for about 4 seconds. So, it's important to continue to keep your buffs up in combat. Always look, are your buffs up? Now, for the console folks, I've been playing on consoles a lot more, and it's definitely opened up my eyes to, I can't rely on buff timers. So, try to look at your character as best you can, and look what Rally animation Rally is. And that's my glowing sword. So glowing sword is not glowing so much, you need to recast it. Vigor is pretty easy, it's 5 seconds and you glow gold. But look at those animations, memorize them, because you don't have the add-ons to tell you, hey, recast this ability. So it is much harder, and you're relying on looking on your character a lot more. See? So just practice looking at those animations. It goes a long way for surviving, it really does. And then the ultimate that I use. Nightblades have tremendous ultimates. Now, there's a bunch of different combos that you can run. You can run Soul Tether, which is really, really good if you don't want to be a vampire. It stuns everyone, drops their block, heals you, and you can combine it with some other burst abilities just to nuke down a group. I like Bats, personally, because Bats, it's healing based, and for 5 seconds, basically no one's killing me, pretty much. But you have the sacrifice, you know, fire resistance and all sorts of other things. So it just depends. And then the other good ability is Soul Harvest. Soul Harvest hits extremely hard, and it gives you Major Defile. Plus, you do more damage against that target for 6 seconds by 20%. So if you truly like into solo play and you want to burst down an enemy, what you can do is some trick here. Ambush in, and you notice that this is not my ultimate. Ambush, bar swap, Soul Harvest. So that's a little bit trickier, but you can really, really do a lot of amazing things. Or ambush in, concealed weapon, then mass hysteria, bar swap, Soul Harvest. That's if you want to play the ganker role. If you don't, you want to play group stun, Soul Tether is great. If you're playing super group, Veil of Blades is really, really handy for reducing damage in a group. But that is pretty much it. So let's talk about the gear now. Alright, let's show you some gear options. Now, not everyone has this gear, so I'm going to give you some options on some things you can do, whether you have best in slot gear or not. Now, a lot of people thought Ravager wasn't that good, and I personally disagree. Ravager, I think, is still really good for PvP. So you look at this right here, it gives you weapon crit, max health, weapon damage, but your melee attacks have 8% to increase your weapon damage by 6, 1, 5 for 10 seconds. No cooldown on it. So you're going to use Quick Cloak along with using concealed weapons and also light weaving and attacks in between. That's going to keep your Ravager procced up most of the time. Also, Ravager has 2 heavy pieces. So you have Ravager here and Ravager here. Those come with the impen, which once again are not bad traits for PvP. So the thing that I like to do is 5 pieces of Ravager. That includes my legs, my gloves, and these jewelry pieces. And then I do 5 pieces, so Hunding's Rage, boots, belt, chest. Yes, they're best in slot. Look at these, pretty. Cost me a lot of gold. And then you get the 2 other pieces on the hammers of Hunding's Rage. Hammers are sharpened. That's what gives you the armor penetration. You want to enchant one with weapon power, and you want to enchant the other one with poison or disease. Disease for PvP specifically. So notice when I swap to 2-hander, I'm not getting hardly any bonus for the Hunting Rage. Why? Because the 2 pieces here. So I'm just using a Master Greatsword just for the heck of it, really. But that's why I do all the damage on this bar, because you're getting the bonuses with the 2 pieces. So that's why I have Concealed Weapon on this bar and Steel Tornado. So I'm really just using the 2-hander as a buff bar. And then I use the good old Engine Guardian set. So Engine Guardian is just, it's fantastic, especially if you're running a stamina-based build that doesn't have 7 pieces of medium armor. 7 pieces of medium armor gives you a ton of resource generation. So I'm lacking that. And also Engine Guardian, if it procs magic, I can use it to do Dark Cloak, Double Cloak to escape. Sometimes people hit it instead of me. It's just a really good thing to get. You can get it in Darkshade Cavern. You can get the helm, Darkshade Cavern veteran mode, and the shoulders through the Undaunted Pledges. Ravager gear you can buy with alliance points here at the elite vendors in PvP. So it's a PvP set. People sell it really cheap because they still think it sucks, but I love it. Hunting's Rage is a 6 trait craftable set you can get. And so that's what I use, and I found really good luck. Now, if you have some super elite gear like Essence Thief, you can do a 5-piece Essence Thief, 2-piece Molag Hina. But I just honestly don't think a whole lot of people have access to that. So the 5-piece Essence Thief and the 5-piece Molag Hina with a bow would be really powerful, but not a lot of people have access to that. So that's why I didn't do that. And then jewelry, like if you wanted, you could go 2-piece Engine Guardian, you could go 5-piece here, Hunting's Rage, or if you don't have access to Engine Guardian, just do Ashen Grip on the head and shoulders. So Ashen Grip is just fine. And then you make the hammers Ashen Grip as well. See, I have an Ashen Grip piece, don't I? Where's the Ashen Grip? I know I have one. Here we go. Ashen Grip. So 4 pieces there. And that's going to give you basically the same bonus almost as the Ravager gear. More health, weapon damage, weapon critical. So don't feel like you just have to have this stuff. But if you're going to drop Engine Guardian, you need to run 7 medium armor. It really will help you out a lot. Trust me on that. Okay, and then a couple other things. So you can see my stats in here. I'm at 26k health, and so that's too much. You usually want to run drinks on this build, so you can do a little bit more dodge rolling. And the drinks that I like to run are the Tri-Stat, because that's how I'm a vampire. Believe it or not, the health recovery actually does help, especially as a Khajiit. So I've always banged on health recovery, but now as a Khajiit, if you get 30% here, or 20%, plus about 400 more points, you actually have a lot of health recovery. So as a non-vampire, I got 1200, I got 1500 stamina recovery. I have the Shadow Munda Stone. Now the Shadow Munda Stone is great for PvE in the build. What I highly recommend is getting the Serpent Munda Stone for PvP. The Serpent Munda Stone, if you don't know, is right over here in Cyrodiil. So it's right up here north. That's going to give you a lot more stamina generation. You have to find the sweet spot between doing damage and sustaining yourself. Remember, if you're in a group play, you're going to have Templars feeding you shards, repentances, so you can focus more on doing weapon damage. If you're playing solo, you're going to rely on yourself for all that stuff, including healing, debuffs, cloaking. You're going to have to do a lot more resources. So, without anything procced, I'm at 21k health, 24k stamina, and I have a decent amount of regeneration. Now, if I switch my Munda Stone, I'll be at roughly 2000 stamina regeneration. I have 3100 weapon damage unbuffed, and then 48% critical. So when I do buff and Ravager's up, I'm at that 4k mark, making me really hit hard. I don't know, does that make sense? I have decent resistance here. That's about half. It's not that good, but you know, it works for me. And you can also use Dark Cloak, and that does get you even more. That gives you the major ward. So you're sitting almost at 20 and 20 when you Dark Cloak. So Dark Cloak makes you more tanky, especially with heavy armor. And the reason is the passive here. Shadow Barrier. So think about, that's another reason to use heavy armor. It definitely makes you more tanky. But that's the gear setup. So once again, if you don't have access to super fancy stuff, you can do 5 pieces Night Silence if you don't want to be a vampire and still like to get the sneak speed. You can go Ashen Grip up here, or if you have super uber gear, you can go 5 piece of Essence Thief right here, 3 piece Agility set, 2 piece Molekina. I just don't see a lot of people having that. So that's basically the stamina build. Now PvE, I do run Night Mothers, and I'm going to talk about why that's really, really good later on. But for PvP, you want to focus on heavy damage, not so much heavy critical. Because remember, players can resist critical. How can they resist critical, Deltia? Well, you have the impenetrable trait, but you also have the champion points. Resistance. Reduces the amount of damage you take from critical hits. That scales all the way up to, I think, 25%. So, between that and using impenetrable on your gear, you could really be speccing into something that's not beneficial whatsoever in PvP. Now, there's a lot of people that don't run any impenetrable, but the good players, they know what they're doing. And if you want to take down the best and be the best, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. So I'm still far from it. But that's my gear setup. So let's go talk about combat and show you a little bit about how to actually use all this stuff together. Before we get to combat, I forgot to talk about champion points. So the champion point cap is going to be 501 soon. Some of us have that much, some of us don't. So let's talk about what you should put your points into and why. Okay, so depending on your racial passive, some racials and stamina have a bonus to stamina regeneration. PvE, what I usually like to do is to reduce cost. PvP, however, I do recovery. It goes really well with 1, a stamina class that has a passive bonus for racial, like Khajiit, 10%. 2, it goes really, really well if you're using drinks. I don't know the math behind it, but it seems like it stacks a little bit higher. So usually I do a 60-40 split. So if I have 100 champion points, I'll do 60 into Mooncalf, and I'll do 40 into Warlord. Because it stacks very, very well and seems to be a huge bonus. So if you have any left over, tumbling is actually really, really effective. Reduce cost of getting CC, dodge roll, and that's going to save you from dying getting CC'd a lot. Really good players know to CC you every 6 seconds. As a stam build, you're using stamina to dodge roll, to break CC, and your abilities, making it optimal to have some points over here so you don't run out of resources really quickly when fighting skilled players. Moving over here. Okay, so this is usually my PvE setup, which I have tons and tons of points into Mighty, tons and tons of points in Precise Strikes. Why? Remember, crit resistance, I told you. The most important thing here is to put tons of points into Mighty and then Piercing. Increases the amount of armor your attack can ignore. Remember, with the other thing, they can impenetrable gear and resistance to crit. This is what you want to focus on PvP. Now, I don't even have 3,000 gold to respec. I'm taking donations. But that's what you want to do. And you'll also have some damage here in Blade Expert. If you're doing light attack weaving in between, this adds up. So then sprinkle some points over here. But the main source of tree you want to get is to get that 100 point or that 30 points to lock Precise Strikes first. So once again, I would do a 70-30 split. 70 points into Mighty, 30 points into here, and then sprinkle some Precise Strikes. Believe it or not, Thermaturge, a lot of your abilities do scale off of that, so that's somewhat good, but don't worry about that right at the bat. Okay. Alright, kids, you can see I have a lot of champion points. So, people that rag on me for having a lot of champion points, you're not going to be able to do that soon. All at 501. What I do like to do in PvP, the number one passive, I think, in PvP, the 120 point is Unchained. Reduces stamina cost, abilities, 80% after you break free of stun, knocked out, fear, disorient, or stagger. Love this thing. You can dodge roll after, you can use the stamina ability, basically costs nothing. So what I like to do is a 50-50 split between Hardy and Elemental Defender. Elemental Defender is very important if you're a vampire, flame, frost, shock damage, but Hardy is so useful. Poison. So a lot of people spamming you with Lethal Arrow, that helps. All the people spamming you with magic debts and flawless dawnbreakers and all that's magic damage. These two things really add up. Now, when you get tons and tons of champion points, you can come over here and have someone a quick recovery for increased effectiveness of healing received. That means if you do a vigor on yourself, you're getting more heals. Or you can even do resistance if you like that. Spell shield is also really good. Even a few points in here will really add up. Why? Because spell resistance and the flame fire resistance do help mitigate damage from vampire. So, I hope that's a lot of information to take in, I know. But that's what I do. So a 60-40 split on resource regeneration over here. Oh, don't get dizzy. A 70-30 split on mighty and piercing. And then a 50-50 split on hardy and elemental. Alright, here we are out in Cyrodiil, and we're at Lady Mundastone. The lovely Pius playing Shara, some crazy little Sorc Khajiit. Who rolls a Sorc Khajiit? Pius does. Anyways, the hardest class you're going to have to fight against is a Sorcerer. They are the hardest, and here's why. Pius, I want you to put Harness Ward, Healing Ward, and Harness Magic up. So when they put all these wards up on themselves, when you hit them, it will not be able to crit. You see that on the left side, 3.6k. So I cannot crit through their shields, 1.1. So it does a lot less. Then, when I put their shields down, I hit a lot harder. But until then, even with my melee attack up, I literally only did 1.3 damage to their health. So it's going to be very, very, very hard to kill them. So what you do against a spam casting sorc like this is realize when you're putting pressure on them, they basically can't do damage to you, but they can survive pretty much forever. You're going to have to wait until they run out of magic or they mess up at one point, and then you're going to use ambush into an ultimate to kill them. So wait till their wards are down and wait to strike. It's very, very hard and very, very tricky, but continue to keep pressure on them. So the one thing they're going to do to you is streak through you, and that's when you have to CC break really fast and then tab target them and ambush to them. Okay, so what's going to happen typically is you're going to jump in here. Now Pius streaks through me. Type break right away and tab target. Keep pressure just like this. And they're going to harden ward, healing ward, harden ward, healing ward. Okay, so those two wards are up. Now you put pressure back on them. Just keep putting pressure on. So put your harden ward up. Put your harden ward, healing ward, harden ward, healing ward. Now, once you get them down a little bit and both those wards are down, and it's close. Just keep applying it. Don't need a mutagen. Then you do the fear. So once their wards are down, you know they're down. You fear them, ambush in, Dawnbreaker, and that will finish them off. Okay, apply your wards because that dot will kill you. But the thing is, it's really hard in the moment to be able to know if their shields are down. So in FTC, apply your wards, Pius, all of them. So in FTC, you can see on the left-hand side, 3.5k. Look, they're not critting. 3.5k, 3.6k. Okay, don't apply them now. Stop. Now it hit for 1.3, so I know the shields are down there. And that's when I can burst. But on consoles, you're going to have to rely on the character's appearance. So apply your wards. That's healing ward. The purple thing is harden ward. The little gray shield around is harness magica. So Harness Magic is not going to really protect her against my concealed weapon. But you're looking for this purple ball around her. As you can see, it's still up. Now it's down. She still has Harness Magic up. As you can see that gray area around them. But when you see this picture, that's your time to kill. So apply your rewards again. That's the one we don't want. So 3, 2, now kill. That's your time to kill. So what I want you to do here, Pius, is streak through me a lot. So you got to be able to CC break quickly. Just keep on streaking. See that tab target, how they light up like that? That's going to help you keep tabs on them. And if they're going to continue to streak over and over, just do ambush spams. Now, as you see, she puts down mines. So what they're usually going to do is put down mines, and they're going to stay centered on the mines. So that's okay. So what you're going to do is if they're staying centered on the mines, you don't really have any range, and you don't want to ambush in there. Because if you do, you'll go boop, and it'll do a lot of damage to you. What you want to do is do Steel Tornado on the outside of the lines. Remember, it's 12.5 meter radius, and it hits pretty hard. So if they're inside there, you kind of steel tornado to piss them off a little bit, and then they'll come out of it, and that's when you jump in, mass hysteria, keep on working on them, keep on working on them, keep on working on them. Their shields are down. Tap target. Oh, they're applying shields. They're applying shields. They're low health. They're low health. Ah! We need a Dawnbreaker. Oh, sorry, Pius. I love you. All right, Pius, come back. So, that wasn't fair, but it's war. If it's a fair fight, you know, it's war. You gotta take advantage when you can. Thank you, Pius. You're a lovely model. Come back. I can't res you. All right, now Kfro and his crap knight. I mean his dragon knight. Come over here, Kfro. Okay, so what dragon knights are going to be something that we like to kill. Because number one, they're not going to be able to escape, and we can reset the fight whenever we want to. Don't teabag Pius. So let's say the Dragon Knight gets advantage of us. So like just come and fossilize me, beat the crap out of me or whatever, wrecking blow. Alright, so this Dragon Knight's kicking my butt. Oh my god, I'm wrecking blow. Remember, you can reset the fight when you want. Dodge roll, Dark Cloak, another dodge roll, use a potion, get in stealth. That's the major defense to get the Dragon Knights. So you want to get in stealth when you can, and to make them scared, you put a mark on them, run up on them, and concealed weapon. I'm spamming the 4 key, he doesn't know where I'm at. Bang! That does a lot of damage off the top, and a heavy attack did 4.5k. Okay, so the Dragon Knight is probably going to use flappers, but that doesn't matter because we're all melee anyways. What you're waiting for if they're a block knight and all they do is block is for their stamina to be out. So you're going to jump on them, fear them, so they have to CC break, light attack, surprise attack, light attack, surprise attack, light attack, surprise attack. That's all you're doing. And so they're going to run out of stamina sooner or later, and that's when you do this. Ambush, bar swap, soul tether. See, their block was down with that ambush, soul tether, dead. Crap. Sorry, I didn't mean to kill you. But that's what you're waiting for in a Dragon Knight. They're going to be blocking a lot, and what you want to do is continue to do mass hysterias every 6 seconds. Get them to run out of stamina. Now, also make sure you're doing light attacks in between your concealed weapon. That really drains people's stamina a lot, surprisingly. So don't just do the 4 key and just surprise attack, because I get locked in that mode where I just don't do anything else but that. But if you do the light attacks in between, trust me, they're going to react. Now, a couple other things here is, so we got over DK, we got over Sorc. What are we going to face? A Nightblade, just like us. The number one thing you can do to a Nightblade to counter them is Piercing Mark. If you don't have Piercing Mark on, it's going to be a really, really tough fight for you because they can just vanish. If you have Piercing Mark on, it's going to be an even fight if they have Piercing Mark too. If they don't have Piercing Mark, you have Piercing Mark, you get all the advantage, all the burst, and you can reset the fight when you want. Resetting the fight just comes down to breaking free of a CC, CCing them, doing a cloak and a dodge roll. So dodge roll to create space, cloak, my feet are green, my feet are green, my feet are green, one more cloak, my feet are not green, dodge roll. That's simply it. And then once the fight is done, remember a nice little tip here is if you're in Dark Cloak, you press the sneak key while you're in Dark Cloak, and when you come out, you'll be in stealth. So if you have enough space, that's how you can sneak out of Dark Cloak and get in there. See that? Okay, so same thing here. Let's put your wards up again. Oh, mines. Put hardened ward up. So remember when you're attacking a sorc to do light attacks and concealed weapon. Light attack, concealed. Light attack, concealed. Because light attack, believe it or not, will add up and rip their shields down. You're waiting for that purple ball to go down. And if they stand on their mines, 12.5 meter radius. So stay right there, Pius. Don't move. Stop moving. Stop. Right there, look how much space that is, and I'm hitting. Still hitting. Still hitting this far away. I'm still, so look at Steel Tornado. You got tons and tons of room. Let's see how far we can go. I'm still hitting. So it's right about here on the screen. So memorize this range. That is a lot of range. So if they're going to sit there, it's not going to do as much as a surprise attack, but it'll make them mad enough to go in there. Also, another thing is fear. Know how far the range is on fear. So she's not feared yet. Moving closer. Fear. Fear. Nope. And fear. So that was not very far away. but you can get close enough where the mines aren't and then do fears to get them out of it. Once you do fears and they start running away from it, that's when you ambush in and get aggressive. Light attack, boom. Light attack, boom. Fear, ambush, light attack, boom. Okay. So, Dragon Knight. What is the Dragon Knight going to do? The Dragon Knight will do crit rush and do wrecking blow spams. So let me show you how to counter this. So do it. Okay, so when they want to do that, you can either do a dodge roll, you can cloak against it, or just get their back. So they're going to try to, if they're in front of you, you can get wrecking blowed. But if you walk behind them, it resets the animation. So do a wrecking blow. See how it reset the animation? Walk right through them. There's no whatever the hell it's called, collision detection. There's no collision detection. So walk right through them. So do wrecking blow again. Boop. Resets the animation. Do it again. So you're just trying to basically get their back. See, if you don't get their back, you go flying. Do it again. Try to get their back. So keep going. Or a dodge roll through them. And then a cloak. So do it again, cloak. So you have a lot of tools for the wrecking blow spammers. Another thing is, once they're in the wrecking blow spam, do it. Fear. It's a 1.1 channel. You should be able to recognize it. So let's just lock in our brains what wrecking blow looks like. So do it. So when you see that thing, when he dips down below, do it again. When he dips his hand down below like that, that's when your key is to know. So just do wrecking blows over and over and put pressure on me. I'm going to show you how to counter this. So when he's doing wrecking blows, fear. So he's going to have to CC and use his stamina, come out of it, and keep wrecking blowing me. So you CC if you don't block. You're getting spammed, you're getting spammed. You can out-heal a lot of this. And then dodge roll, reset the fight. So if I'm getting in trouble, I'm going to dodge roll, reset the fight, do 2 cloaks, another dodge roll. I'm going to press my key to get in there, and then boom. Alright, so now let's do a free fight here. So it's 2v1. I suck. Don't beat me on a video. Alright, so you guys ready? So, notice your target. I'm going to show you guys something. And I'm looking at their health bars in the top. So we have a VR12 with 37k health. We have a VR15 with 20. Oh, you just ate food, didn't you, you little booger? With a lot of health. So what your objective is in something like this is attack one target, whoever you think can die the fastest, and then move on to the next. So my biggest threat is going to be the stamina-based Dragon Knight, who has the lowest health and also can do a burst wrecking blows. The Argonian sorcerer can keep themselves alive, but I'm not really worried about their pressure. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to YOLO in, fear, and Dawnbreaker to start, putting a lot of pressure on him. CC break, another fear, dodge roll, he's down. So I'm going to reset the fight. Cloak. Jump in. So she's on her mines. So I ate him. Boom. Fear her out of that. Still tornado. Still tornado. Now a lot of pressure. So she's just going to sit there and harness Magicka. Healing ward. Better hit healing ward. The back pedal's real. Ah. Okay. So identify the target that you think you can kill the fastest and work it. Now, when the other target's putting pressure on you, you're going to have to constantly bar swap and keep your healing up. But every second you can, put pressure on that target until it's eliminated. Move on to the weakest target. Weakest target, easy. The fastest you get ultimate, the faster you can take them down. And then also fear constantly. And that's combat. The next most important thing in a group is line of sight. In this fight here, I'm Emperor and the Reds are trying to dethrone me. So what I'm trying to do is create a lot of havoc up front and make sure that my group can repair the sidewall or get in position for a keep defense. The thing you have to ask yourself is when you're taking pressure, am I out in the open where everyone can hit me? If the answer is yes, like this, don't do that. Get behind something right here. Line of sight, it gives you a couple seconds to apply your buffs, your defensive buffs, do a dodge roll, create space, and then get behind something else. So right here, they're on me, they immobilize me, another dodge roll. I'm going to do a couple heals here. couple heals. I'm going to push back into them with my bats, try to take out one target or so, and then I'm constantly moving in between stuff. So they're going to try to jump on me and immobilize me, and I'm doing the best I can to line of sight. Don't stay out in the open. Get behind something. That's called pillar humping. If you're out in the open, you're dead. If you're behind something, annoying these guys like this, you're just buying your time for the team. Well, Nuggets, that's the build. I hope you got something out of this build video. I went a lot more in detail and explained a lot more things because I hope that you guys can still roll a Stamina Nightblade effectively. They're probably not the most powerful class in the game anymore with the dodge roll, but just because you can't infinitely dodge roll doesn't make them not fun, explosive, damage dealing, and a heavy movement speed. So if you like this gameplay, pick up a Stamina Nightblade. And the next video I'll be doing PvE. So if you want to do dungeons and group content in PvE, that video will be for you.